Boom. All right, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to talk to you about why I believe it's silver and silver stocks time to shine. You guys, finally, if you've been a part of the channel over the past few months, then you know that we've been kind of just waiting for this day to come ever since silver broke out of its very promising massive long-term bull flag back in December. Okay, so we're finally seeing some exciting price action. We saw a little bit of exciting price action a few weeks back with the whole Reddit deal, but silver right now is looking very strong on the charts, and I'm very excited to see what happens from here, you guys. I will say right now as well that I do believe the primary catalyst behind silver's move up today is Bitcoin and cryptocurrency seeing a short-term correction. Okay, so that is why I will throw in a little bonus Bitcoin analysis at the end and just give you guys some of my thoughts about how these two sectors work with each other and affect each other as far as price action goes. Okay, so keep in mind, you guys, precious metals, silver, gold, Bitcoin, all inflation hedge assets, store value assets at their core. Many of you know that I do, as far as long-term perspective goes, I'm definitely more bullish on Bitcoin just because it's a far more efficient store of value and valuable product, in all honesty, in my opinion, than gold and silver. But that doesn't mean that if capital begins to flow out of cryptocurrency sectors, that it won't flow into other promising inflation hedge sectors, legacy sector like precious metals, so silver and gold. And I'm significantly more bullish on silver than gold for a multitude of reasons I won't get into now. But silver looking very promising to me right now. So let's get into this. As always, we'll quickly go over each topic. We're going to be discussing some of the names we'll discuss, and then we'll dive into each one individually. So in front of us, trading view, where we'll touch on the following names today in this order going down the watch list. All right, so kicking it off with silver. Silver is a 24-hour market, you guys. I do personally trade SLV, the stock SLV, iShares Silver Trust. It's pretty much like investing in physical silver, but as a stock, they hold, it's a trust, so they hold your silver technically for you. And when you buy shares in their company, that's pretty much like buying physical silver and all the silver they own. Okay, so we're not actually going to take a look at SLV because silver and SLV are very similar charts, but I will talk a little bit once we get into the analysis about how these two interplay with each other, because they're not exactly the same, but they always somewhat move in unison. Okay, because again, this is just a silver trust, so it's physical silver. Move on to my single favorite mining stock. I've talked about this a lot, you guys. This has been in my portfolio for so long. I like the CEO. The CEO is the man. The company's great. The financials are solid. They're expanding operations all the time, and that is AG. So First Majestic Silver, up 12% today. Very good. The call options are very happy with today's price action on both SLV and AG. So I'm very excited to give you guys my upside price targets for these guys, talk some technicals, and just let you guys know where I think these are going, because I'm very bullish, if you guys couldn't tell already, on the entire silver sector. And keep in mind, you guys, there's a lot of other great mining companies out there, but I just wanted to narrow it down for you guys, let you know what I'm personally keeping an eye on myself. Okay, so again, we'll go over silver and then we'll hop into Bitcoin. Again, Bitcoin is seeing a short-term correction. If you guys watched the stock watch video yesterday talking about how I've never been more bullish on crypto, I don't think I've ever had a video age worse, so I apologize for that, you guys. But it's important to understand that we're fortunate to be right here a lot on the channel, but I've been wrong so many times in my life. I'll be wrong so many more times. The important thing is just not viewing it. It's not a failure. It's all learning. So just keep scaling your knowledge, keep working, because the red days are inevitable, and that's all right. And that's why you adapt. So you need to adapt to the environment, and that is why, again, I want to give you some of my thoughts around how precious metals and cryptocurrencies kind of intertwine with each other from a price action perspective. Okay, so very excited to get into it. As always, before we dive into the charts, though, I will ask you to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it today, or if you're bullish on silver like I am. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, want to catch more content like this, and of course check out my complete portfolio daily newsletter. First link down in the description. 15 bucks a month if you want complete breakdown of my entire portfolio, so all call options, put options, stock positions, cryptocurrency positions that I do update every single trading day during market hours. And with every update, I send out a pretty comprehensive email newsletter explaining my thoughts, rationalizing my trades, why I'm taking a trade, why I'm exiting a trade, throwing in some charts, and just letting you guys know whatever I think is important at the time of actual trading. All right, so again, first link down in the description. Really appreciate it if you guys check that out, but if not, no worries at all. Let's dive into silver. So silver, first, before we dive in, I love to see this. I'm gonna move my fat head real quick. So trading view, this site I use, obviously, very beautiful UI and very complex site, and I don't put a whole lot of weight on their technical analysis. They have this scale for every single asset that you'll ever, like stocks, cryptocurrencies, whatever, from a strong sell to a strong buy. And I'm not exactly sure what their algorithm is, but I trust the fact, because this is their platform, that they have a very capable and competent algorithm, and it's pretty rare that you see a strong buy. So silver right now has a strong buy rating, and again, I don't put a whole lot of weight on that, you guys, but again, I trust TradingView's algorithm, and I always love to see that. And just, if I'm bullish on something and I see that, I'm just that much more bullish on it. Okay, so that's just a fun little thing to get out of the way now. But let's talk about silver's price target. So again, silver, we're on the daily. We're gonna do dailies for all of these because we're kind of focusing more on the medium term here as opposed to the short term. But silver, I do think we'll see exciting short-term price action, but again, just the daily, just to kind of frame everything, okay? So again, silver saw this parabolic move up, saw a great rally back in July, back at the end of the summer, again, creating this massive bull flag. You see silver come up earlier this year to about a high of $30. It actually just surpassed it when we saw that little Wall Street Bets mania a few weeks ago. So we did hit $30, set a yearly high for silver. And again, this bull flag right here, ever since silver broke out of this bull flag, which again is this parabolic move up, creating the flagpole, followed by a descending triangle. This is like a pretty textbook bull flag. I was very confident that we were going to play this out as a bull flag, especially considering the macroeconomic environment. So again, should have said this in the beginning, but as many of you know, we got a big old stimmy coming. I think about 2 trill is the next stimulus package that's coming. And the reason silver and Bitcoin are crushing it right now is because they, again, are store value inflation hedge assets, okay? And in a world that's printing, not just the US, but the entire world is printing trillions and trillions of dollars in their own fiat currencies. Ultimately, those fiat currencies, the US dollar, wherever you're from, shout out to all the international viewers, they will ultimately become devalued. You can't just print with no consequence, and that's why assets like silver, Bitcoin, and gold have performed so well. But again, I do think capital is flowing out of there. People still want inflation hedge assets, and that's why silver, which hasn't seen its time to shine, Bitcoin's been in the spotlight. I think silver really will see its time to shine. So anyway, broke out, been going sideways again. We saw this crazy price action back here a few weeks back with the Wall Street Bets thing. Kids were pumping silver, which was great. I was stoked on that. But now you see silver build some strength. It is the most bullish thing for me is that silver, this line of resistance right here is a very significant trend line on the overall downtrend, or on the medium term downtrend. So silver still in an overall uptrend, long-term uptrend, but medium term, again, since this high way back in August, which is pretty long, but again, I'll just say medium term for the purposes of this video, is bouncing above that. So you can see ever since we got this kind of fake out, I'll call it, because it immediately popped and fell below this after the whole Wall Street Bets thing. You can see it's using this line as a very, very significant ceiling, a line of resistance, okay? And now that we've broken above it, again, there's a lot of things, like the stochastic RSIs are pointing straight up as well on the daily, which from a medium-term perspective, from a swing trading perspective, is something that you absolutely love to see. And again, the fundamentals around silver too are great too. We got a stimulus coming. People want to keep their wealth safe in inflation hedge assets, and silver, as opposed to gold, which is what I was kind of talking about in the beginning. So the silver gold ratio is still very skewed. Gold is pretty much dancing around its current all-time highs, at least from the summer. But silver's all-time high back in 2011 was actually $50. Silver's only at 28 right now. So silver, I do think, will ultimately at least 2x to meet its previous all-time high back in 2011, just because the macroeconomic environment is so, is perfect for all the stars are aligning for silver, in my opinion, okay? So let's talk about short-term price action, okay? So short-term, medium-term, again, I think if we do hit this by the end of the month, by March 1st, we will ultimately test this trend line. So this cyan trend line you can see here is testing all of these highs that you can see has definitely acted as a very significant ceiling way back since we bounced from the March lows, from the liquidity crisis back in March, okay? So using all these highs, it's very evident that silver is following this trend line. So this is why I believe this is actually a conservative trend line, and a pretty conservative estimate. I'd be personally surprised if we didn't see silver hit at least $32.50 by the end of the month. Maybe we hit it a little later. Maybe we test this a little later. If we hit it March 11th, say, again, it's all dependent on when it tests the line of resistance. That'll bring it to $33, okay? If we break above this, which I do think is likely, I do think we're going to go significantly higher, and that's where I'll show you this green line here. So again, break above this, rocket ship. We are on a rocket ride at that point, and we're going to use the first high, again, this first high from way back in March, and then silver's recent high about 6 months later, or like half a year later, you guys know what I'm talking about here, at the end of summer, again, when silver set its initial high of the year. And using those two touch points, you create the overall long-term line of resistance. Here is silver's previous high at exactly $50. I think that's easily attainable. We'll probably see a bounce there just because it's also a psychological even as well. Say we hit this in May. Let's just do my birthday just for fun. May 19th. If we hit this on May 19th, that would take us to a $61 silver. And again, the macroeconomic environment is so well catered to silver, and again, I'm just so bullish on silver for both technically and fundamentally right now. Okay, so that's silver. Again, you guys, iShares Silver Trust is the stock that iShares Silver Trust is the stumbling all over my words. iShares Silver Trust, kind of tough, is the stock that I choose to play silver itself. Okay, again, it's a trust. You can see it's at 26, 27. Silver's at 28 right now, which actually makes me a little more bullish on it. Again, they shouldn't be like lined up all the time, but I think SLV does have some catching up to do. So I'm very bullish on that. Again, it's a very similar chart, almost looks exactly the same. So that's why I show you silver, because it's also more, it's 24 hours, so you can see what it's doing right now. And yeah, that makes me bullish on SLV. So again, the SLV call, shout out portfolio group, we're crushing it this morning, especially considering cryptocurrency pulled back and pretty much tore apart my portfolio. I'm very glad that I had some of these silver calls in place, because again, I've been expecting this move up, and again, it has proved itself to now validated what we've been thinking for a while, that if we do see a pullback in cryptocurrencies, it acts as a direct hedge. So it's negatively correlated to cryptocurrencies. All right, so let's take a look at AG real quick. I'll just give you guys my top side price targets for AG. I think this is this trend line right here is very, very obviously in play, and I think it's very likely that probably by the end of the week, if we do see silver continue to crush, you can see Bitcoin's pulling back, so I do think precious metals, and a lot of time, I'll just say this right now, just a thought that popped in my head. When you kick off a week with a certain sentiment around asset classes, so it's Monday, right? Bitcoin, everything pulling back, that sets a negative sentiment short term. So over the course of the week, I'll call over the course of the trading week, that sets a negative sentiment. So it's pretty likely that trend will continue, because it's kind of burned in everyone's brains. It's kind of scarred people. Again, a lot of people lost a lot of money today, including myself. But again, you adapt to your situation, and hopefully by the end of the week we make it back, because we were able to restructure the portfolio, considering I'm more bullish on silver than Bitcoin in the short term. Again, long term, of course, I'm more bullish on Bitcoin, but short term, that doesn't mean that some capital can't flow into silver from the cryptocurrency sector. All right, so again, you're seeing, oh, this is beautiful too. The daily stochastic is just curled up on AG, and just to keep it simple, you guys, it's obvious that this is my topside price target. If we hit it again by March 1st, by the beginning of March, that would take us to a $25.60 AG. And again, I think it's very likely, you guys. I think, what was AG's all-time high back? And let's go all the way back to, we're not going to go back that far back. I got to do the weekly. But AG, again, there's so much potential here. I think AG is sitting at a market cap of $4.3 billion. Very financially sound company. Again, I've been following this company for a very long time. I'm a fan of their CEO, and it's just a good, financially sound. They mine gold and silver, which is cool, and other precious metals as well. So it's just a very well-rounded company, and this is by far the mining stock that I'd have the most stake in personally. Okay, so again, price target for AG from $19, where we're at almost 20, is going to be $25. So you're looking at a cool 25% appreciation right there. And again, if you have the right calls in place, then those can be like 2-3x. Okay, so very exciting here. Let's close it out with Bitcoin again, and just let you guys know what I'm thinking here. So it's very likely to me at this point, because we saw this huge red candle of doom for BTC. This was definitely like a whale, so a large capital allocator had to have had thousands of BTC probably. Probably taking some profits off their position, again around 50K, where we just reached that $1 trillion market cap that we've been talking about for a while, was likely to act as an area of resistance. Because keep in mind, you guys, when large institutional players like whales, like, again, the people who, it's their job, people who really know what they're doing, market cap is actually a very important factor in determining value, and when to kind of how to navigate positions, especially if you're so up on your money. Like, some people imagine like you bought BTC at a few $100. Like, there's a lot of those guys, and you still have hundreds thousands of BTC. Bitcoin hits 50K, you're significantly in the money. Okay, so I'm not surprised people are starting to take profits. Again, the fundamental momentum, the inflation argument, the fact that Tesla just added like 1.5 billion onto their balance sheet is a huge fundamental driver. And this, again, long term, medium to long term, still very, very bullish on Bitcoin. But short term, I think it's likely, personally, because we are seeing, like, you're seeing a lot of sell volume. The daily stochastics are curled down. It's probably likely that this will continue, and I do think that we will probably see a correction in Bitcoin down to test the overall line of resistance on the uptrend. So right here is a place that I'm comfortable, would perfectly line up. So I did line this up intentionally with this initial high that we set back at the beginning of the year in January. So again, spent a lot of time, acted as a ceiling around here, 40K. It was this high right here. Once it broke above that, that's when you see it go absolutely parabolic. And I think it's very likely that again, the corrections are a healthy part of every bull market, and I think it is likely that Bitcoin will ultimately use this initial high that it set back in January. Again, once it broke out, that's when it went parabolic, and I think it will likely use that, and it perfectly aligns if we do strike it on like March 5th. So this correction could span a couple weeks, which is not uncommon at all to see. Like a 7 to 10 day correction is pretty standard when you're in this like crazy parabolic overall long-term uptrend. It's not going to be crazy to see, okay? So that would be what, 60K to 40K. I mean, you're looking at a solid 30% correction, which again is very common to see as well. So this line of support, this bottom line of support on the overall uptrend would coincide with Bitcoin's recent high at the beginning of the year, and that's why I'd have personally like a 41,000, just to play it conservative, play it safe, like we like to do around here. $42,000 price target for Bitcoin. At that level, I'd personally be very comfortable buying Bitcoin, and I very likely will if we get down there, especially like GBTC and stuff too. So keep in mind, you guys, this will reflect in some crypto related stocks that we talk about that we love here on the channel, so just be prepared for that. But again, you guys, that's part of the game. That's part of the game. That's part of the overall cycle. If you're new to bull markets, they can get crazy. They can get rowdy. Nothing just goes straight up forever. It doesn't make sense. So Bitcoin has seen its time to shine. That's why I'm very excited that if capital does start flowing once again out of Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency sector, because there's so much new money in there. There's a lot of eyes on silver right now. Again, with that Wall Street bets thing that went on, got a lot of retail interest in silver, which is very important again, because silver, although it does have a pretty solid market cap, does not have like a crazy market cap. So it does not take a whole lot of capital to do some damage in that sector. So very exciting times for silver. Again, you guys, please let me know what silver stocks, what mining stocks. Again, I have a lot of like Fortuna, I like Pan American Silver is great. Silver Crest Metals, I think, is a good one too. But let me know what your favorite silver play is down in the comments below, what you're thinking about Bitcoin, what you think about kind of that theory of capital flowing out of Bitcoin into silver, into other inflation hedges that may have not seen some love over the past few months like Bitcoin has. And I think, again, inflation hedges will always be around. People will always want store value assets. And again, it's just about that cycle. So as capital flows out of Bitcoin cryptocurrencies, I do think that silver will reap some of the rewards and some of that misplaced, some of that capital that wants to stay safe, wants to make money. And again, there's a lot of eyes on silver right now, which is just another factor, just another layer that makes me that much more bullish. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about everything we talked about today. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.